a new co-host today. Wait, did that make me the host? I feel like I've gotten a promotion.
Co-host means that you have two of them. Like that would be like a mini host and a host.
No, but on Zoom you have a host and a co-host.
Oh,
you still have a main host. So I feel like I have gotten a promotion.
That really informs our world now. But in Zoom, the rules are
seriously, life is all about Zoom. So we have a replacement for our John. He's down.
John is not feeling well. His face is drooping,
which apparently causes strain. It's not comfortable. Anyway, we're happy to replace him.
His face is tired from talking, so I got to fill in today.
Yeah.
I just happened to be here.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for the sleepover.
Thankful for bubbles and change of scenery. Somebody out there probably needs a change of scenery. You should bubble with someone if you're not already bubbled. Is that legal now?
It doesn't matter.
We're a household.
She's my caregiver. For my children and myself.
So we're gonna do a reading on codependency. What's your I asked you this last time. I'm sorry.
What's your
definition of codependency? Did I tell you my what my sponsor said?
No.
That codependency is when you spiritually abandon yourself. And I feel like many times in my life I've abandoned myself in more ways than just spiritually. Like that's the deep part. But then because I spiritually abandoned myself, I emotionally abandoned myself. I physically abandoned myself.
Wow.
I know, right?
I have to think about that for a while, but we don't have time for that.
This is a 12-minute broadcast.
Maybe 8 minutes.
We have strict instructions and we're also being supervised.
So do you want me to read? Let's get the ball rolling.
All right.
And then we can make more banter later.
You read.
Gifts, not burdens. And so we're going to start off with a quote from Kathleen Turner Crilly. And she says, children are gifts if we accept them. All right. Children are gifts. Our children, if we have children, are a gift to us. We, as children, were gifts to our parents. Sadly, many of us did not receive the message from our parents that we were gifts to them and to the universe. Maybe our parents were in pain themselves. Maybe our parents were looking for us to be their caretakers. Maybe we came at a difficult time in their lives. Maybe they had their own issues and simply were not able to enjoy, accept, and appreciate us for the gifts we are. Many of us have a deep, sometimes subconscious belief that we were and are a burden to the world and the people around us. This belief can block our ability to enjoy life and our relationships with others. This belief can even impair our relationship with a higher power. We may feel we are a burden to God. If we have that belief, it is time to let it go. We are not a burden. We never were. If we receive that message from our parents, it is time to recognize that issue as theirs to resolve. We have a right to treat ourselves as a gift to ourselves, to others, and to the universe. We are here and we have a right to be here. And here's the prayer. Or do you do it at the ending?
No, you do it now.
Okay. Today, I will treat myself and any children I have as though we are a gift. I will let go of any beliefs I have about being a burden to my higher power, to my friends, to my family, and myself. Oh. Do you feel like you're a burden to anyone or anything?
I have felt that many times in my life. Many, many, many times. And it's so funny. Last night, I was at a group last night. A woman shared, she doesn't have children, but she shared about how she had a realization in her early years of recovery that she has 4 dogs. And she said she would take care of them. She took them to the vet. She fed them. She took them for walks. She took them outside. But she said one day she was like yelling at them and realized that she treated her dogs the way her mother had treated her, like with disdain. She's like, I treated my dogs that way. And like, I was hostile to them and I was like mean to them and I yelled at them. And she's like, I didn't feel that way about them. I thought that was so interesting. I was like, oh, wow. And I think that is an interest it can be a difficult time when we start to realize like I mean, because I can focus all I want on the past, right? But that doesn't help me. I have to look at my current, like, what am I doing now? And like that I find objectionable. What is it that is objectionable? And then ask God to take that away. And so there's patterns that, that certainly I have treated probably, that guy over there, not necessarily like the way that I wanted to treat him. And so that was a tough thing to realize and then have to process. And
yeah, I think that like, treating other people like gifts, I think is so huge because like I like receiving gifts. I like it when someone gets me something really nice and I treat it really well. But I think the thing about a gift, it sometimes maybe it wears after a while and you're like, well, it's no longer fresh and new and sparkly. Like my little baby, it's like, oh, you're so sweet. I play with you and love you so much. And then eventually she grows into a little sassy child that throws temper tantrums and freaks out and kicks me, So but I think that like, it's such a good reminder of like, we are gifts. And I think like, I identify with this part of feeling like a burden to other people. I'm trying to think if I feel like a burden to God. I feel like I wouldn't say at this point in my awareness that I would feel that I'm a burden to God. But I do, there are ways in my life that I probably behave that way. But I think that like, I remember even when my sponsor felt like I needed extra help. I got the extra help card where it was like, hey, if you need to call me every day, it's okay. I was like, oh, I'm a special kid. I don't know if she's telling her other sponsees that, but clearly I need extra help. But I said to her at one point, I was like, I just want to feel like I'm not a burden to you. Like I'd always be like, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, blah, blah. And she's like, well, this is helping my recovery too. So thank you. And she's like, I'll tell you, like, if I, have to leave in 10 minutes or whatever, she's like, but you're not a burden. The time that I give you is not a burden to me. I fully accept and enjoy this time. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, cause I think that so often I just think that's a part of, as I'm going through my resentments right now, is that like, I feel burdensome to people. And there's like specific things that's happened in my life that made me feel like a burden. And so then I live that way in the current, like you were saying, is like, the past is there. And it's like, unless the past somehow gets healing or correction or all these different things to it, and ultimately given to God for him to repair it and set us free from it. Like we just keep living out of the past. And so that's what I keep doing. And that's what's hard.
And if I'm feeling like a burden, I'm not going to be able to receive love, right? If I feel like a burden, I'm actually not even going to be able to receive love, which is probably the thing that I want the most, right? I want to feel loved, but all I can feel is a burden. And I won't even notice the love. I won't notice the attention. And I think that that's oftentimes like, I know for me, I actually had to like sit down and say like, I feel like I'm only remembering negative stuff, like I have this classic example of my parents taking me to Disneyland, and literally my only memories of Disneyland are bad ones. And so I actually had to bring that to God and say, like, I actually need you to reframe some of my childhood experiences for me and to bring me positive memories, because I know that there was some positive stuff. And so I was like, what has happened? Or how have I participated in this of like, I can't receive love and I'm not paying attention to the positive stuff. And so I need God to like come in and heal me and to really rely on him. And then when I can let him love me, then I can love others. And then, I do now have like a lot more positive memories of fun things. And and I thought how sad or damaging that, that it's just the negative stuff so often that stuck out to me, because that's not truth. If there wasn't only negative. So yeah, I think that asking God to show me how to like, let him love me. And for me right now, that's just like ongoing conversation. you know, being able to just bring everything to God and just say like, oh, it's like little conversations throughout the day.
And I think pointing out that truth, like of where, like it says, we are not a burden. We never were. We received that message from, you know, all these places and people and stuff perhaps, but it's not true. And I think that that's such a important message to speak to ourselves. And that's from God, of just being like, I am not a burden. And like, it seems so simple, but maybe perhaps in even like just speaking it out and like recognizing that and maybe journaling about it, whatever kind of works for you, for people out there. But I feel like it's so important to, I think, just declare what's true, even if we don't feel it. That's something I'm also working on, is like, I might not feel something, but I have a choice to make. I can choose if something is true and believe that it is true, or I don't. And I think that's the point of faith too, of being like, this is true. I don't feel it. Maybe this wasn't even my reality, but this is what scripture says, that God says about me. And I'm going to choose to believe that instead of choose to believe what I've been told in the past, perhaps.
Right. And because the reality is, if I'm always looking for other people to make me feel better or to make me feel good or to make me feel special, it'll never be enough. It'll never be enough. Other people will never fill that hole in me. So we leave you with that. For thoughts, I think that's one that I will probably have to return to later on today and read that through again. There is an app, a Language of Letting Go app. If this is if you like this, if this is helpful to you, I have my reminder pop up around 2:00 in the afternoon, because I know that in my day, I need to take a pause in my day. And so around 2:00, it pops up. I reread it again. I think about it and I just like sit quietly for a little bit, and it helps me like reset the rest of my day, because sometimes I can get like a little bit spun out. So that's my little tip.
Awesome.
Have a great day. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. And we hope that you can take a little bit of this and implement it in your life.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.